Good morning, USA. What's happening, guys? Okay, guys. Starting today off with some breakfast pancakes, buttermilk pancake mix. Basically, you got 3/4 cups of water and 1 cup of pancakes, and that should do the trick. Stir it up real good. Next one is put some butter in the pan. And guys, I always forget when I go to the store to get the the non-stick cooking spray. But I got butter, so I use butter. And my handy little griddle. I love this thing. And I forget about it. Dennis used to always use this. Okay. So let's get the pan nice and hot. And let's see what we got here. I think I'm gonna just do one at a time. Okay, guys, I think this side is done. Flip this bad boy over, like so, and bam. I think it's done, right, guys? Let's try it. Let's see. Yeah, let's do the next one. When you see them bubbles come like that, you know it's time to flip it, guys. This one's gonna be a little browner than the other one. And it's all good. I think it's done. Yeah. I think I got room for another one. Okay, guys, now I got me some ham. It's already cooked. I'm just heating it up. Heating it up for the pancakes. Oh yeah, now I got me some Dunkin' Donuts coffee, man. That's like the best. That's the best right there. Dunkin' Donuts. Yes, sir. Gonna add my cream and sugar to it. There we go, guys. Pancakes, and I got my ham and coffee. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And this is, butter flavored syrup. Yes, sir. See that? Big Brian show. Yes, sir. That's my saying. I coined that one. Saying that for years, though. Anyway, what's happening, USA? What's going on today? Dunkin' Donuts ain't no joke. Hey, Google, what's today?
It's Wednesday, August 6th, 2025. Here's news about Jeffrey Epstein. From NPR at 6:22 p.m. yesterday. House Oversight Committee subpoenas DOJ for Epstein files. The committee asked the DOJ for files related to its investigation of Jeffrey Epstein. It is also looking to question Bill and Hillary Clinton, among several other former government officials. From CBS News at 10 p.m. yesterday. Ghislaine Maxwell's attorneys argue against unsealing grand jury testimony. Attorneys for Ghislaine Maxwell are arguing against the Justice Department's attempt to unseal grand jury testimony against her, writing in a court filing Tuesday that their client has no choice but to respectfully oppose the potential release. Jake Rosen is a reporter covering the Department of Justice. He was previously a campaign digital reporter covering President Trump's 2024 campaign and also served as an associate producer for Face the Nation with Margaret Brennan, where he worked with Brennan for 2 years on the broadcast. From CNBC at 2:54 p.m. yesterday. Murdoch to give Trump health updates in Epstein case. Deposition delay. President Donald Trump is suing Rupert Murdoch over a Wall Street Journal article about a birthday letter Trump allegedly sent Jeffrey Epstein. Conservative media baron Rupert Murdoch will give President Donald Trump regular updates on his health as part of an agreement to postpone Murdoch's deposition in Trump's $10 billion defamation lawsuit against him over a Wall Street Journal article about late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. The unusual stipulation in Miami federal court comes a week after Trump's lawyers sought a deposition from Murdoch within 15 days. From HuffPost at 6 p.m. yesterday. It took Trump 7 years to expel Epstein after learning about stolen staff. The president brags that he broke with the child sex trafficker after discovering that he was raiding his help, but leaves out how long that took. Portrait of financier Jeffrey Epstein, left, and real estate developer Donald Trump as they pose together at the Mar-a-Lago estate, Palm Beach, Florida, 1997. Davidoff Studios photography via Getty Images. From WTOP at 1:58 p.m. yesterday. House committee issues subpoenas for Epstein files and depositions with the Clintons. It's part of a congressional probe that lawmakers believe may show links to President Donald Trump and other former top officials. From AlJazeera.com at 6:24 a.m. today. Explainer News, Donald Trump fact-check. Did Democrats take action over Epstein case transparency? As lawmakers seek Epstein case files, Johnson and Trump criticized Democrats for inaction during previous Biden administration. From Hindustan Times at 11:46 a.m. yesterday. Inside Jeffrey Epstein's New York lair, hidden cameras in bedrooms, Lolita, and framed photos with billionaires. Newly revealed photographs of Jeffrey Epstein's townhouse show disturbing artwork, hidden cameras and memorabilia from influential figures. From WCVB Boston at 12:17 p.m. last Monday. Americans question Trump's transparency on Epstein. UMass Amherst national poll finds nearly everyone in the country is aware of the Jeffrey Epstein case, and more than half of those who are believe that President Donald Trump is concealing information about the case, according to the results of a new national poll. Conspiracy theories and outrage have swirled around Epstein since 2006, when the financier first faced criminal charges related to the sexual exploitation of underage girls.
I got a question. So when Donald Trump raised all these tariffs on countries, who gets this money? You know, he's representing the USA. He's the president. So I was talking about making a deal. So who is he the only one getting money? Inquiring minds want to know. Where does that tariff money go? Does everybody get a piece of this, or is it just him? Because I remember one interview when he was on an airplane, and the girl asked him about tariffs, and he said, and Donald Trump went, these tariffs going to be good. You're not going to know what to do with all the money you get. Well, goddamn, I ain't seen no money. What about you? He's the only one getting money, right?
Staying with the banking theme, President Trump says he'll name a nominee to fill an upcoming vacancy on the Federal Reserve's Board of Governors by the end of the week. Separately, Trump also says he has a short list of 4 people to replace Fed Chair Jerome Powell when his term expires next year. His shortlist for that does not include Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. The people Trump chooses for the roles, which could even be the same person, will be able to significantly impact policy debate. The president's been blisteringly critical of Jerome Powell for not cutting interest rates. Fed policymakers have stayed out of it, but are trying to balance evidence of a slowing economy, a weakening job market, and inflation which remains well above its 2% target. The US is winding down the development of mRNA vaccines, shutting down projects worth almost $500 million. The unit being shut down was dedicated to combating public health threats like COVID. US Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. says data shows the vaccines the unit works on are not effective. The longtime vaccine skeptic did not provide scientific evidence. President Trump is suggesting Vice President J.D. Vance is his heir apparent as the Republican nominee in 2028. He says Vance is, quote, most likely to take up the mantle, while also proposing Secretary of State Marco Rubio join him on the Republican ticket. US envoy Steve Witkoff is in Moscow on a last-minute mission to find a breakthrough in the Ukraine war. It's just 2 days before the expiry of a deadline set by President Donald Trump for Russia to agree to peace or face new sanctions. But it appears Trump's threats aren't really making a difference. Reuters has spoken to sources close to the Kremlin who say Putin isn't backing down, and that Russia has no plans to stop until it fully captures the Ukrainian regions of Donetsk, Luhansk, Zaporizhia, and Kherson. Reporter Mark Trevelyan has more.
We're hearing from these sources that Putin wants a good relationship with Trump. He doesn't want to upset Trump. However, the war goals that Putin is pursuing in Ukraine are more important to him. So we're told that Putin's generals believe that Ukraine's forces at some point on the battlefront will collapse, although that is not confirmed by independent military analysts.
Trump had given Putin this Friday deadline to reach a ceasefire. Mark, what are you hearing about what Putin is likely to do?
Judging from what our sources are telling us, Russia is prepared for the likelihood that there could be more sanctions, but it thinks that it can weather them, just as it's weathered many previous sanctions before. So it's not overly concerned about it. It may be that they have some hope that maybe Trump will back down, or maybe they can come up with something in these talks with Witkoff to persuade Trump that actually they really are serious, they're making progress, and that he should stay his hand and not go ahead with it.
The Kremlin has not responded to requests for comment on this story. OpenAI is in early stage discussions about a stock sale allowing employees to cash out, and which could value the company behind ChatGPT at about $500 billion. That's according to a source familiar with the matter. For comparison, Microsoft is valued at $300 billion. And in traditional media, Walt Disney's ESPN has reached a landmark deal with the NFL to acquire the NFL network and other media assets from the league. In exchange, the NFL will take a 10% equity stake in ESPN. An outbreak of the chikungunya virus in southern China is being supercharged by historic rainfall, perfect for the mosquitoes which transmit the disease. The virus is found in Southeast Asia and parts of Africa, but the outbreak in China is the worst the country has ever seen. Joe Cash is in Beijing. Joe, what is the chikungunya virus?
So the virus causes severe joint pain, rashes, headaches, and while most patients begin to feel better within a week, some people can continue to suffer for months or even years. It's not fatal, but there's also no known cure. Officials in Foshan, which is the city that's been hit hardest, although at least 12 other cities have also reported infections, have resorted to releasing bigger mosquitoes to try and eat the specific mosquito that is spreading the virus. They've released mosquito-eating fish into the water. They've also tried quarantining people, similar to how authorities across the country dealt with the COVID pandemic, but that has caused some concern on social media because the virus isn't spread by people-to-people transmission. It's spread by mosquitoes biting you.
A crowd gathers at the Special Prosecutor's Office in Seoul for the arrival of South Korea's former First Lady, Kim Kyung-hee. The wife of former Prime Minister Yoon Suk-yeol is being questioned over several allegations, including stock manipulation, influence peddling, and bribery for accepting a Christian Dior handbag, among other things.
Here's news about P. Diddy. From Hindustan Times at 7:08 p.m. yesterday. Diddy pardon talks get real. Trump receives formal request from Sean Combs' team. Diddy's defense lawyer said that the music mogul's team has formally reached out to President Donald Trump's administration about a potential pardon. From Hindustan Times at 12:18 a.m. last Monday. Who is Gina Wynn? Sean Diddy Combs' ex, victim 3 feet for prosecution, writes to judge for his release. Gina Wynn, who identified herself in the letter to the judge seeking Sean Diddy Combs' release, was earlier victim 3 feet for the prosecution. From Cinema Blend at 10:38 a.m. last Sunday. Diddy's lawyer reveals one of the horrible things the rapper has had to deal with while in prison. Cinema Blend Sean Diddy Combs' lawyer reveals that one aspect of being in prison that's particularly hard on the rapper is not being able to go outside.